Imagine drowning in a sea of stuff you don't need, chasing a dream you don't want, while the life you crave slips through your fingers. You own nothing but your clinging. Let go, and the world becomes yours. Right now, you're stressed, overwhelmed, maybe even lost. Why? Because society sold you a lie. More, you're better. But what if more is stealing your peace, your time, your soul? What if I told you that everything you've been taught about success is wrong? Hidden in ancient Buddhist wisdom is a secret, a way to live so free, so light, it feels illegal. But no one talks about it because it threatens the trillion-dollar machine that profits from your pain. They don't want you to know that the key to everything isn't in your next purchase, it's in letting go. You're trapped. Clutter chokes your mind, debt chains your choices, and that nagging voice, it whispers, "Is this all there is?" This isn't another self-help scam. This is 2,600 years of proven truth. Simplicity isn't sacrifice, it's liberation. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: stop adding, start subtracting. That's all you need to know. Number 1. The illusion of accumulation. You spend years building a sandcastle at high tide, layer by layer, adding intricate towers, decorative shells, and moats. Yet, no matter how grand, the tide will inevitably wash it away. This is the illusion of accumulation. You pour your time, energy, and identity into acquiring more. More wealth, more status, more possessions, only to discover that nothing truly belongs to you. Buddhist teachings reveal that attachment to material things creates suffering, not because possessions themselves are harmful, but because clinging makes you fearful of losing them. The grander the castle, the greater the dread when the waves arrive. Imagine this: you finally buy the luxury car you've dreamed of. At first, you feel a surge of excitement, but soon you start parking further away, afraid of scratches. You monitor the mileage, anxious about depreciation. The joy of having it quickly turns into the burden of preserving it. This is the paradox of possession. What you own owns you. The Buddha once said, "You own nothing but your clinging. Let go, and the world becomes yours." When you release attachment, you gain everything: the freedom to experience life without fear of loss. Living simply doesn't mean you reject material comfort. It means you reject the illusion that possessions define you. The less you cling, the lighter you become. Consider this: a small, serene home offers peace, while a sprawling mansion demands constant upkeep. A minimalist wardrobe frees you from decision fatigue, while an overflowing closet creates mental clutter. The less you own, the fewer chains you carry. Try this. Walk into your living space and examine the objects around you. One by one, ask yourself, does this serve my peace or my ego? If it brings genuine utility or joy, keep it. If it merely inflates your self-image or clutters your mind, let it go. Donate or sell one possession today, a piece of clothing, a gadget, or an object you rarely use. Experience the subtle but profound relief of releasing something you once clung to. You'll be surprised by how little you miss it. Now, reflect on this. What is one possession you could give up today and not even notice? The answer may surprise you. The things you once chased so desperately often hold less meaning than you imagined. Ironically, the more you release, the richer you feel. Without the weight of excess, you gain the spaciousness of a liberated mind. Here's the twist. The more you accumulate, the more you fear losing it. Ownership becomes a prison, where you guard what you have instead of living freely. But when you embrace simplicity, you walk away from this trap. You become lighter, clearer, and unshackled. True wealth isn't in what you possess. It's in the spaciousness of a mind free from craving. When you stop chasing, you arrive. And when you stop grasping, everything flows toward you. 2. The value of enough. A bonsai tree will never tower like a giant oak, yet it thrives. Its growth intentionally limited, its energy directed inward. Every trimmed branch strengthens its core, making it resilient, balanced, and beautiful. This is the value of enough. In today's world, we are conditioned to believe that more is always better. More money, more possessions, more achievements. But Buddhism teaches the opposite. True peace comes from knowing what is enough. When you chase endlessly, you never arrive. When you define your limits, you discover freedom. Imagine a man who spends his entire life pursuing wealth, convinced that one more promotion, one more investment, or one more possession will finally bring him happiness. But no matter how much he acquires, contentment always remains out of reach. His mind is constantly on what's next, never on what is. He sleeps in a house filled with luxuries, but wakes up with a restless heart. The Buddha once said, "A man who knows he has enough is rich." Wealth is not measured by what you own, but by your ability to say, "I have enough." When you reach that place, the endless craving for more loses its power over you. Living simply is not about renouncing comfort. It's about shedding excess that distracts you from meaning. It's about cutting away the unnecessary, like trimming the bonsai, so that your energy isn't scattered. When you own fewer clothes, you stop wasting time deciding what to wear. When you reduce distractions, your focus sharpens. When you stop seeking validation through possessions, your self-worth becomes unshakable. Simplicity doesn't strip your life of meaning. It makes room for it. Try this. Define your own enough. Look around your surroundings. Ask yourself, how much do I truly need? Maybe you realize that 3 quality shirts serve you better than 30. Maybe a smaller, simpler home brings you more peace than a mansion filled with unused rooms. Maybe happiness doesn't come from upgrading your phone every year, but from upgrading your mindset. Write down what enough looks like for you, not as a number, but as a lifestyle. When you define your limits, you reclaim control over your life. Now, ask yourself, what's stopping you from simplifying your life? Is it fear of letting go? The belief that more equals better? Or the habit of clinging to familiar excess? The truth is, enough isn't something you find, it's something you decide. The moment you stop chasing, you start living. The moment you stop hoarding, you start appreciating. Here's the twist. Enough isn't a number, it's a mindset. 2 people can own the same things. One feels abundant, the other feels lacking. The difference? Perspective. When you realize that fulfillment isn't found in excess, but in appreciation, you become unshakably content. Like the bonsai tree, you don't need infinite space to grow, you only need enough. And when you embrace that, life finally feels whole. 3. Mental clarity through subtraction. Imagine hiking up a steep mountain with an overstuffed backpack. It's loaded with extra clothes, unnecessary gear, and heavy supplies. With every step, the weight drags you down, slowing your pace and draining your energy. Now, picture removing the excess, shedding the items you don't need. Suddenly, you feel lighter, freer, and more focused. This is the power of subtraction. In life, we carry more than we need, both physically and mentally. Our spaces are cluttered with possessions, our devices overflow with apps, and our minds are packed with distractions. Yet, in Buddhist philosophy, simplicity is the path to clarity. By lightening the load, you make room for peace. Buddhist monks embody this principle by living with only 8 possessions: a robe, a bowl, a water filter, and a few essential items. Their sparse lifestyle is not deprivation, it is liberation. With fewer belongings, they are not burdened by maintenance, decisions, or attachment. Their uncluttered environment fosters an uncluttered mind. When you remove excess, you stop tending to what doesn't matter and start focusing on what does. The Buddha taught, empty your cup to fill it with clarity. When your life is overfilled with noise, you cannot hear the quiet wisdom within you. But when you subtract, you create space for mindfulness. Think about your digital world. You wake up and instantly check your phone. News alerts, unread messages, and social media flood your mind before you've even taken your first breath of the day. You switch between countless apps, each one fragmenting your attention further. By the end of the day, your focus is scattered and your mind restless. The solution is not better organization, it's subtraction. The less digital noise you entertain, the sharper your focus becomes. Try this. Take a bold step today. Delete 10 apps from your phone, especially the ones that drain your time but add no real value. Then, walk into your living space and select 10 physical items you no longer use or need. Donate, discard, or gift them. As you let go, observe the lightness you feel, not just in your surroundings, but in your mind. Simplicity doesn't just declutter your home, it declutters your soul. Now, reflect on this. What are you carrying that you no longer need? It could be an old habit, a limiting belief, or a toxic relationship. Sometimes mental subtraction is even more powerful than physical decluttering. When you let go of what weighs on your spirit, you move through life with ease. Here's the twist. Decluttering is not about organizing, it's about releasing. You don't need better storage systems or more shelves. You need fewer possessions. You don't need productivity apps. You need fewer distractions. When you simplify, you amplify. Your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes lighter, and your life becomes clearer. The freedom you seek doesn't come from adding, it comes from subtracting. And when you finally unburden yourself, you realize that the lightest step is the most powerful one. 4. The burden of owning. You find a beautiful vase, delicate and elegant. You place it in your home, admire it daily, and feel a sense of pride. But then, a crack appears. Now, instead of enjoying the vase, you worry about it. You shift it to a safer spot. You dust it carefully. You check for new damage. Before long, the vase no longer brings you joy, it brings you stress. This is the burden of owning. Every possession you acquire demands something from you: time, energy, maintenance, or even anxiety over losing it. Like a cracked vase, you keep pouring in your attention, but it never holds peace. We convince ourselves that owning things will bring security, yet the opposite happens. The more we own, the more we fear losing it. The bigger the house, the more repairs, the more gadgets, the more updates, the more clothes, the more laundry. You don't just buy objects, you inherit their upkeep. The Buddha warned against this cycle, teaching that attachment leads to suffering, not because things are bad, but because we become tangled in their care. True freedom isn't in acquiring more, it's in needing less. As the saying goes, what you possess possesses you. Think about how much of your day revolves around managing stuff, searching for lost keys, reorganizing cluttered spaces, fixing broken appliances, updating subscriptions, or cleaning items you barely use. Now, imagine redirecting that energy towards something meaningful, learning a new skill, deepening relationships, or simply resting without the mental weight of upkeep. The average person spends 12 days per year searching for lost belongings. That's nearly 2 weeks of life, gone just looking for things we once thought we needed. Try this. For 1 week, track how much time you spend maintaining your possessions. Cleaning, repairing, organizing, searching. Write it all down. By the end of the week, you'll be shocked at how much of your life is spent serving objects instead of living. Now, take one step toward freedom. Choose one category: clothing, kitchen items, electronics, and reduce it. Keep only what truly adds value. Donate, sell, or discard the rest. Experience the relief of letting go. Now ask yourself, do I own this, or does it own me? The answer will reveal what's weighing you down. We chase things believing they will serve us, but often we end up serving them. That luxury car comes with constant maintenance. That big house demands endless upkeep. Even digital possessions, apps, emails, subscriptions, pull at your attention. The fewer attachments you have, the more energy you reclaim. Here's the twist. Possessions don't just take space, they steal your life. Every extra item, every unnecessary commitment, every useless purchase costs you time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. When you free yourself from the burden of ownership, you gain something priceless: peace of mind. You don't need more to be fulfilled. You need fewer distractions from what truly matters. Let go and watch how light your life becomes. 5. Letting go as liberation. You stand on a grassy hill, holding a helium balloon by its thin, delicate string. It tugs gently, eager to rise. But your grip is firm. You hold on, afraid to let it go. You tell yourself that keeping it close gives you control, but in truth, it only keeps you tethered. The balloon wants to soar. You are the one preventing it. This is the weight of clinging. In life, you hold on to far more than possessions. You grip old grudges, outdated identities, and regrets. You tell yourself that keeping them close protects you. But in reality, they only hold you back. The lesson is simple. Letting go isn't losing. It's making space to fly. Buddhism teaches that clinging is the root of suffering. When you refuse to release what no longer serves you, you chain yourself to it. You carry resentment, thinking it punishes the person who hurt you. But it only poisons your own heart. You hold on to regret, hoping it will change the past, but it only clouds the present. Imagine walking through life with a heavy stone in your hand. You grip it tightly, unwilling to drop it. But the longer you hold it, the more your hand aches. This is what emotional attachment does. It drains you without offering anything in return. The Buddha once said, "You can only lose what you cling to." But here's the deeper truth. When you let go, you gain everything. The moment you release bitterness, you make room for compassion. When you forgive, you free yourself from the weight of the past. Letting go is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate act of liberation. It is not about forgetting. It is about choosing your peace over your pain. Try this. Choose one unresolved burden, a grudge, regret, or old story you carry. Write a letter to the person or situation. Pour every unspoken word onto the page, the hurt, the anger, the sorrow. Then burn it. Watch the flames reduce the words to ash. As the smoke rises, visualize the emotional weight leaving your heart. The fire doesn't erase the past. It frees you from carrying it. This simple act is not for them. It is for you. Now ask yourself, who or what am I still holding on to? Is it worth the wait? Most of the time, the person you refuse to forgive has already moved on. The regret you carry serves no one. You remain the only prisoner. The moment you let go, you step out of the self-imposed cage. Here's the twist. Forgiving others is not a gift to them. It is a gift to yourself. It cuts the cord that ties you to old pain. It lightens your emotional load, allowing you to breathe freely. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for what does. Like the helium balloon, you were meant to rise. You were never meant to carry the weight of the past. Let it go and watch yourself soar. 6. True wealth is invisible. Imagine holding an empty teacup. At first glance, it seems useless, void of value. But only in its emptiness can it receive. If the cup were already full, nothing more could be added. This is the secret of true wealth. It isn't found in what you accumulate, but in the space you create. In Buddhism, wealth is not measured by possessions. It is measured by peace of mind, time, and meaningful relationships. The fullest life is often the simplest one. Because when you stop filling your cup with material distractions, you make room for what truly nourishes you. Think about the wealthiest people you know, the ones with lavish homes, luxury cars, and overflowing bank accounts. Now, ask yourself, are they truly rich? Many of them spend their lives guarding their wealth, chasing more, and fearing loss. They have everything, yet they live in scarcity, lacking time, peace, and purpose. Now, consider the monk with no money, but infinite stillness. His wealth is invisible. It lies in the serenity of his spirit. The Buddha once said, "The poorest person is not without money, but without purpose." You can have millions in the bank, but if your life lacks meaning, you are spiritually bankrupt. The modern world convinces you that wealth is measured in assets and status. You fill your calendar with endless commitments, convincing yourself that busyness equals success. But the wealthiest people, in the truest sense, are those with time. The time to breathe, reflect, and connect. They are rich in stillness, not schedules. Their currency is presence, not possessions. Try this. Audit your calendar. Go through your weekly schedule and ask yourself, how many hours are spent chasing status versus pursuing joy? How much time is devoted to impressing others or maintaining appearances? Now, compare that to the hours you spend with loved ones, enjoying hobbies, or simply being at peace. You might be shocked to realize that the wealth of your time is being spent on things that do not enrich your life. Then, make a bold shift. Cancel one non-essential commitment and use that time for yourself. Take a walk, sit in silence, or reconnect with someone you love. Watch how this simple change makes you feel wealthier than any paycheck ever could. Now, reflect on this. If you had no money but endless time and love, would you feel poor? The truth is, the happiest people are often those with the least to prove. They measure their riches in laughter, kindness, and presence. They are wealthy in spirit. Their hearts are not crowded with greed, and their minds are not cluttered with stress. Here's the twist. The invisible riches, peace, time, and relationships are the only wealth that grows when shared. Unlike money, they cannot be lost. You can give your kindness away endlessly, and it only increases. You can share your time with others, and it only makes your life fuller. When you stop chasing visible wealth, you start accumulating invisible treasures. And in the end, these are the only riches that truly matter. 7. Redefining success. Imagine walking through a garden. You see flowers blooming in vivid colors, red, yellow, and violet. Each one stands tall, not competing with the others, but simply expressing its nature. The rose does not envy the sunflower. The lily does not crave the tulip's petals. Each flower blooms because it was meant to, not because it was trying to be something else. This is the essence of true success. Yet, in today's world, you are taught the opposite, to measure success through comparison, titles, and external validation. But Buddhism reveals a deeper truth. Real success is not about standing out, it's about standing true. The modern world sells you a hollow version of success: wealth, fame, and influence. You see people with impressive job titles, massive followings, and glamorous lifestyles. But beneath the surface, many of them are exhausted, anxious, and spiritually empty. Their schedules are full, but their hearts are not. The Buddha warned of this illusion, teaching that worldly success, driven by ego, is fleeting. A flower doesn't compete with others, it just blooms. The most radiant life is not the loudest one. It is the one most in harmony with itself. Think about the person who seems to have it all: financial freedom, social status, and public admiration. But look closer. They are often chained to their phones, drowning in obligations, and struggling to find joy. Their achievements come at the cost of their peace. Now, consider the monk living in simplicity, with no possessions or accolades. He rises with the sun, meditates, and spends his day in mindful service. He owns nothing, yet lacks nothing. His success is invisible, but immeasurable. It is the freedom to be fully present. Try this. Redefine success on your own terms. For 1 week, track your success not by what you achieve, but by how you live. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I act with compassion today? If the answer is yes, you were successful. If you made someone smile, forgave a mistake, or showed patience, you succeeded. Shift your metric of success from productivity to presence. Notice how much lighter you feel when your worth is no longer tied to performance. Now, reflect on this. If no one could see your achievements, would you still pursue them? When success is driven by validation, it becomes a performance. But when it is rooted in purpose, it becomes freedom. The greatest success stories are not the ones with fame. They are the ones with fulfillment. Here's the twist. The most successful people are often the most exhausted. They chase more, but they feel less. They are admired by the world, but disconnected from themselves. True success is quiet. It shows up in the kindness of your words, the integrity of your choices, and the peace you carry in your heart. It cannot be measured in likes, but in love. It cannot be displayed on a resume, but it radiates through your presence. When you stop chasing the world's version of success, you create space to bloom, just as you were meant to. 8. The myth of multitasking. Imagine a mighty river flowing with force, carving through mountains and valleys. But as it reaches the delta, it begins to split into smaller streams. The once powerful current weakens, losing its momentum as it spreads itself thin. This is what happens to your mind when you multitask. Each time you divide your attention, switching between emails, scrolling social media, or juggling calls, you dilute your mental energy. You become like the scattered river, busy but powerless. Buddhism offers a profound solution: samadhi, or one-pointed concentration. The teaching is simple. When walking, walk. When eating, eat. In other words, do one thing with your whole being. In today's world, multitasking is praised as a sign of productivity. You feel accomplished when you juggle multiple tasks, but in reality, you are not doing more. You are doing less, poorly. Studies show that multitasking reduces efficiency by up to 40%. Your brain struggles to shift between tasks, creating mental residue that slows you down. You answer emails while watching a video, but absorb neither fully. You eat while checking your phone and miss the taste of your meal. You claim to be busy, but you are only distracted. Think of the most peaceful person you know. They aren't rushed. They move with calm precision, giving their full presence to each task, This is the power of focus. Buddhist monks practice single tasking as a form of meditation. When they sweep the floor, they only sweep. When they wash their bowl, they only wash. Their minds are not cluttered with unfinished to-do lists. They are fully present, and as a result, they find peace in the simplest of actions. Try this. For 1 hour each day, practice single tasking. Choose an activity, reading, cooking, or even walking. Turn off your phone. Close all tabs. Give that task your undivided attention. Notice the difference. You will feel calmer, sharper, and more fulfilled. Your mind will begin to settle, free from the noise of divided attention. Over time, this practice will strengthen your focus in all areas of life. Now ask yourself, am I truly productive or just perpetually distracted? The answer may surprise you. The modern world glorifies busyness. You see people bragging about their packed schedules, wearing stress like a badge of honor. But in truth, busyness is often a mask for insecurity. You cram your calendar to feel important. You multitask to appear efficient. But deep down, you are just running from stillness. Here's the twist. Busyness is not a symbol of success. It is a symptom of disconnection. The need to be constantly occupied stems from an inner restlessness. When you simplify your focus, you regain control of your time and attention. You become the powerful river again, flowing steadily, carving through life with intention. When you embrace the art of doing less, you start living more. 9. The freedom of impermanence. Imagine a group of Buddhist monks spending days creating an intricate sand mandala, a breathtaking work of art made from colored grains. Each line and curve is placed with precise intention. But when the mandala is finally complete, they do something unexpected. They sweep it away. The masterpiece they spent hours perfecting is destroyed in seconds. Why? Because the monks understand a profound truth. Everything is impermanent. Beauty, achievement, and even life itself are fleeting. By destroying the mandala, they practice detachment. They remind themselves that clinging to anything, no matter how beautiful, only creates suffering. In your life, you build your own mandalas, relationships, careers, possessions. You invest years in them, hoping they will last forever. But they won't. The job you once dreamed of will end. The person you once loved may leave. Even your body will eventually fade. Buddhism teaches that impermanence is not a tragedy, it is a liberation. Hold everything lightly, or it will crush you. When you accept that nothing is permanent, you stop gripping so tightly. You love more freely without trying to own. You live more fully, knowing nothing is guaranteed. Think about the last time you were heartbroken over a failed relationship, a lost job, or an unexpected change. You probably believed the pain would last forever, but it didn't. Time softened the sharp edges, and eventually, it passed. This is the nature of impermanence. No storm lasts forever. And just as sorrow fades, so does joy. Instead of mourning this truth, you can use it to set yourself free. You can appreciate the present moment with open hands, knowing it is fleeting. Try this. The next time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Most of the time, the answer is no. The things that consume your mind today, work deadlines, petty arguments, or material concerns, will eventually become distant memories. When you adopt this perspective, you stop giving power to temporary struggles. You become lighter, wiser, and more serene. Now, reflect on this. If everything is borrowed, why do you fear losing it? The truth is, you own nothing. Your house, your car, even your relationships They are all temporary. When you accept this, you release the fear of loss. You start to love people for who they are, not for how long they stay. You value experiences over possessions. You live with gratitude instead of grasping. Here's the twist. The fear of loss vanishes when you embrace impermanence. You realize that life is a series of mandalas, beautiful, fragile, and destined to dissolve. Instead of clinging, you learn to marvel at the art while it lasts, and when it's time, you let it go with grace. This is the ultimate freedom, living without attachment. When you accept that everything is temporary, you stop trying to make it permanent. You finally start living fully, moment by moment, with open hands and an unburdened heart. 10. The silent power of stillness. A ship caught in a violent storm doesn't resist the waves. It lowers its anchor and holds still. It doesn't fight the chaos around it. It remains steady, knowing the storm will pass. Your mind is the same. When life pulls you in every direction, when stress and distractions feel overwhelming, the answer isn't to run faster or do more. The answer is stillness. Silence is not empty, it's full of answers. Yet, in a world that glorifies busyness, stillness is mistaken for inaction. People believe that if they stop, they'll fall behind. But the truth is, the busiest minds are often the poorest. They are bankrupt of clarity, peace, and presence. Think about the last time you sat in complete silence. No phone, no music, no distractions. When was the last time you allowed your thoughts to settle instead of drowning them in noise? Most people can't remember. They rush from one thing to the next, mistaking motion for progress. But simplicity creates space for stillness, and stillness is where insight is born. The Buddha found enlightenment not through endless action, but through deep, silent contemplation. Every answer you seek about your purpose, your fears, your next step exists within you, but you can't hear it over the noise of the world. Try this. Sit in silence for just 5 minutes each day. No distractions, no agenda. Just sit and notice what arises. At first, your mind will resist. It will flood you with thoughts, tasks to complete, worries to analyze. But if you stay with it, something shifts. You start noticing the space between thoughts. You realize you are not your stress, not your worries. Underneath the noise, there is a still and steady part of you, one that is wise, calm, and unshaken. Now, reflect on this. What if doing less led to knowing more? Most people fill their lives with activity, thinking that movement equals meaning. They measure success by how much they accomplish. But the greatest insights come in stillness, not in speed. Einstein's best ideas came not while working, but while taking slow, reflective walks. The world's greatest philosophers and leaders sought solitude before making life-changing decisions. Stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's about creating space for clarity. Here's the twist. Those who constantly chase distractions never truly rest. Their minds are exhausted, their focus scattered, their lives filled with noise but lacking depth. But when you embrace simplicity, when you strip away the unnecessary, you create room for what truly matters. You stop reacting to life and start living with intention. You stop being pulled in 1,000 directions and finally stand still, anchored, present, and at peace. The most powerful people are not the ones who shout the loudest or move the fastest. They are the ones who are deeply rooted, unshaken by chaos, and clear in their purpose. And that clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from daring to be still. Bonus lesson. The hidden currency of presence. Imagine holding a key in your hand, a small, simple object. On its own, it has no value. But when it unlocks a door, it becomes priceless. The same is true for your time. The minutes and hours of your day are just keys. But if they don't unlock presence, they are wasted. Time spent being, rather than doing, is the ultimate wealth. Yet, in today's world, you trade it away. You fill every gap with productivity, emails during meals, messages during walks, content during stillness. You are present everywhere, but truly nowhere. Buddhism teaches that the greatest gift you can offer is not money, words, or achievements. It is your undivided attention. Think about the last conversation you had. Were you fully there, or were you half listening while your mind wandered? Most people listen only to respond, not to understand. They nod while thinking of their next sentence. They smile while checking their phone. Their bodies are present, but their minds are absent. This is the poverty of modern life. Constant connection, but no real presence. The Buddha once said, "The greatest gift you can offer is your presence." When you are fully present, you give others the rarest currency, your undivided attention. It tells them, you matter. Right now, nothing is more important than you. Try this. In your next conversation, practice listening without planning your reply. Just listen. Observe their words, tone, and expressions. Let go of the need to interrupt, advise, or shift the focus back to yourself. You will notice something remarkable. The person will feel seen. Their eyes will soften. Their voice will relax. They will open up, because for once, they are not speaking to a distracted mind. They are speaking to a human being fully there with them. Now ask yourself, when did I last sit still without a screen? When did you last watch the rain fall, feel the sun on your skin, or listen to the sound of your own breath, without reaching for your phone? Most people can't remember. They have replaced presence with productivity, missing the beauty of their own lives. They document moments, but fail to experience them. They take photos of sunsets, but forget to watch them. Here's the twist. You've been rich all along. You just traded your presence for productivity. The wealth you seek, peace, joy, and connection, has always been right in front of you. It was in the shared laughter with a friend, the gentle touch of a loved one, or the stillness of a quiet morning. But you were too busy to notice. When you slow down and become fully present, life reveals its hidden treasures. You realize that true richness is not in what you do. It's in how deeply you live. The next time you find yourself rushing or multitasking, stop. Hold the key of your time and ask, am I unlocking life or just passing through it? You'll discover that the most priceless benefits of living simply have nothing to do with what you own and everything to do with how present you are. Quick summary of 10 lessons. The illusion of accumulation. Chasing possessions creates fear and suffering. True freedom comes from releasing attachment to the temporary. Ask, does this serve my peace or my ego? The value of enough. Society pushes more, but contentment lies in defining your enough. It's not a number, it's a mindset that unlocks abundance. Mental clarity through subtraction. Physical and digital clutter drain focus. Delete, donate, and simplify to reclaim your mind's sharpness. Surprise. Decluttering reveals your true self. The burden of owning. Possessions demand time and energy. Buddhism teaches non-attachment. You're not defined by what you own. Track how much life your stuff steals. Letting go as liberation. Grudges, regrets, and old identities weigh you down. Forgiveness and release create space for growth. Burn a letter to someone you resent. True wealth is invisible. Wealth isn't money, it's time, peace, and relationships. Measure riches by purpose, not possessions. Audit your calendar for joy versus status. Redefining success. Society's metrics, titles, followers are fleeting. True success is acting with compassion daily. A flower doesn't compete, it blooms. The myth of multitasking. Divided attention breeds stress. Focus on one task fully. Busyness is insecurity, not honor. Freedom of impermanence. Nothing lasts. Accepting this, anicca, dissolves fear of loss. Ask, will this matter in 5 years? Silent power of stillness. Chaos fades when you stop chasing distractions. Sit in silence daily. The busiest minds are the poorest. The root of suffering is attachment. Zen teaches that clinging to anything, possessions, identities, even thoughts, is like gripping a burning coal. The tighter you hold, the deeper the burn. Simplicity isn't about losing, it's about untangling yourself from illusions. What if you walked through life with open hands, ready to receive but never shackled? When eating, eat. When walking, walk. Modern life glorifies doing, but Buddhism whispers, be here now. The greatest wealth is your ability to sit under a tree, feel the breeze, and know you lack nothing. How much of your life have you traded for productivity, a currency that rusts? A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. Society's race for success is a rigged game. Zen asks, who set these rules? True power lies in rewriting them. What if your legacy wasn't a resume, but the quiet moments you made, others feel seen? This body is not me. I am not limited by this body. Everything you love will change. Jobs end. Relationships shift. But impermanence isn't a threat, it's a dance partner. The tighter you resist, the clumsier the steps. What if you flowed like water, embracing each twist as part of the river's song? Silence is the language of God. In a world screaming for attention, stillness is rebellion. Zen masters sit not to escape life, but to dive into its depths. When the noise fades, you hear the truth. You've always been enough. The clutter was just a distraction. If this stirred something in you, hit like and share it with someone who's drowning in the noise. Drop a comment. What's one thing you'll let go of today? Subscribe to Deep Wisdom for weekly Zen insights, because peace isn't a luxury, it's your birthright.